All right. My name is Mike Kuntz. I live in Crestwood, Kentucky, just outside Louisville. I bought two silver tickets to win a BMW E46 M3. Yeah, every once in a while, when I get free time, I game. And one of my friends, Tim, he was telling me about your all's website. And I've always been trying to do those like Turner Cold, 80 for 80s, trying to put money in to get as many tickets, but you never know how many tickets they ever give out. So he told me about, hey man, try PrimeDriven. They got some really good cars every once in a while that you might like, and they do like 2,500 tickets, so you know what your odds are, and they seem better. So, and then I just happened to sign up to your all site that same moment we were talking during our game, and I was like, oh shoot, they got an E46, man, that's the car I've always wanted. So I bought the two tickets, and here we are. When I was younger, I knew a guy that had an E30 M3, and that's a classic chassis. Always loved that and stuff, and I was like, you know what, I was at that moment in my life that man, I can buy something for myself. And, there's not too far from me, there's a couple of dealerships up in Cincinnati that, one specializes in BMWs, M3s in particular. And they just so happen to have a couple on their lot that I was interested in. So I just always liked the body style of the BMW. So drove up there, they had an E46 silver, they had an E46 gold, or almost not gold, but darker yellow is what they call it. So I was like, I like that silver a little bit better. It just kind of popped. So, but they also had an E46 on the lot too. So at the time I was like, I'm gonna go with the retro version, and then, maybe about 10 years later, I just like, man, that E46 was so beautiful. Why did I get that one when I could, had the chance? But that's okay. Life takes over, you get kids and stuff like that. So things good on the back burner, and my E36 has been in my garage for the last like 5 years. I drive it off and on whenever. Oh no, it was awesome. I saw the pictures and stuff. I said, oh my gosh, and that one's nice because you guys thought it was all dolled up. It's already done all the work and stuff. The Vanos was done, and that's the big thing with BMW is that Vanos, and all that is just seals, rods, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take my chance on this one and see how it pans out. So. And my E36 I have that I own, I've done some stuff to it. Dynon is a big contributor to all their upgrades. They were pretty much BMW's main upgrader on their cars, cold air intakes, stuff like that, soft force and stuff like that. So I've had some work done to my the E36 and that I have. So. Well, I've always get emailed from if you do sign up for you get the emails that about hey, this car is going to be offered or this and that. But that day, Thursday when I was working, I just kept checking my phone all day long. I was like, this is the day. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm kind of visualizing, man, I wanted to pop up and hey, you won the car or what? And then I got your all's text. I was like, all right, I've never gotten one of these before. I've never gotten a congratulations kind of text and stuff. Even on a scam, they don't reach out to your cell phone. They reach out to your email or something else, and it will show up in your spam folder. So then you guys hey, can we text you back at this number and stuff? So then I'll call you back. And after talking to you guys, I was like, oh my gosh, I really won this car. And since my wife works at Costco as well, so I walked up there after having the conversation with you guys and all the details. I was like, Amanda, I think I won a car. And she's like, no, you didn't. I was like, no, I think I won a car. And I told her, it's everything that we had discussed. And she immediately got on the internet and was researching and stuff like that. And she went to YouTube, saw all your all's videos and stuff. And she's like, you won a car. I was like, I just told you I just won a car. So sometimes I got that feeling it wasn't a scam, even though I asked questions, you do the usual, hey, I'm gonna research this company a little bit better and stuff. But no, you guys are legit. Well, you never hear about people that winning one of these cars. So that actually stirred excitement. At work, a lot of people started following you guys a little bit more, and they're like, it's like, oh my gosh, Mike won a car. It was by Friday, everybody knew I won a car. I didn't even tell anybody but my wife. and one other guy that like's been trying to fish for a skyline from you guys for a while. So that's only 2 people I told. But when you guys posted it on Friday, and it was like, I got a lot of friends I work with too, so they all saw it. It's like, did you get a car? I was like, yes, I did. Well, obviously my wife wants to take a ride in it first, but we live right off 71, so we're taking a nice drive up to Cincinnati, and probably a couple guys from my work they want to ride it. They've already asked me like, you can drive it to work, and I'm like, yeah, I'll drive it up there, but it's going to be far parked away from everyone else, so avoid those door dings and that you don't want to walk out and see. But yeah, probably take the wife, drive it, and my son. I have an 8-year-old. He's been asking every day. He's like, when's that car coming? When's that car coming? Because he likes taking a ride in the E46 whenever I do take it out of the garage. So he'll be looking forward to it as well. Yeah, I tell him like, this is worth the entry. You at least know what your odds are up front. 2,000 tickets. You never know. I mean, I just did 2 tickets, and there's only 2,000, so my chances were better than what you know. At least better to know your odds ahead of time than it is not to know them. And that's what you get with like most of the other websites. You never know how many tickets are actually sold and stuff. So I would tell them definitely try your luck. No matter how many tickets you do, you never know.